What's up? What's up, my people? I am back. Welcome back to the Sweet Cherry Podcast. I am your host, Cherry. And if you are new, welcome to the podcast. If you are returning, welcome back. Love that you love us and support me here. And yeah, glad you're enjoying the content and I look forward to giving you more. If you are new or you haven't really heard of Sweet Cherry Podcast, you can find Sweet Cherry Podcast everywhere. We are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. That's just to name a few. So you can stream us anywhere. Just search around Sweet Cherry Podcast. And of course, you can find us on Patreon where, the topics get a little spicy and we talk a little more freely. There's behind the scene footage. There's pictures and bloopers and just a whole bunch of things. So if you want, head on over to patreon.com/Sweet Cherry and go support your girl over there. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just gonna jump right into it today. Young and dating older. I was listening to a podcast earlier this week, and they kind of touched on a subject where young girls, young women were dating, older men. But not like much older than them. Let's say like 10 years older than them, around that ballpark. It's 15 years older than them. And it was like, you know, when when do you consider too old, to be dating, at a young dating someone as being younger? And do you view it as it being groomed? So there was, I had a lot of questions and I had a lot of thoughts on it also, just on what they briefly, talked about, whatever. So, I was like, I got things to say and I want to hear other people's opinions too. So I want to know, like, is there a point where being at a young age dating someone much older, a bad thing? Is it grooming? Um, you know, because always dated older than me. Um, not like 10 years older than me or, 15 or even 20 years older than me, but I have always dated older than me. Now, I feel that girls mature faster than guys do. So that has a lot to do with it also. But I'm just attracted to older guys that are older than me. Not saying that I don't think younger guys are attractive or, that I wouldn't be like, I will talk to him, at my age and them being younger, Um but I my partner now is 7 years older than me. So at our ages now, it's not like really a big it's not really a big deal, cuz I guess in a sense we catch up or meet up in a way, But had I been younger, it would have been different. If I was 15, my partner would have been 20, 22, something like that. 23, 21, between 21 and 23. So that would be a major difference and that would be a problem, for my mother at the and probably just people around, they would say, "Oh, what is he doing with a 15-year-old?" Blah, 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 blah. So it wouldn't have been a good thing, being younger. But now that I'm older, um, you know, it's not a big deal because I'm now an older adult and, you know, he's an adult. So, and I've also um dated um someone that was much older than me. I was about 17, 18, and they were like 24, 25. Um and you know 17, 18 doesn't sound that bad because when you're 18 they consider you kind of an adult or whatever, but I mean you're really not an adult. Like, you're still living at home. You probably just graduated high school and you're not really an adult, and dating someone older like 24 or 23, it's still a big age gap. And I didn't find it a problem, because I felt kind of like we grew, we had the same interests, we had things in common, and it's just because they were so much older than me that it's looked at, as kind of frowned upon because they're like, what are you doing with this teenager? Like, you're already, you know, old enough to know. Like, you want to be dating somewhere in your age group, but to me it was like, nothing. Now there's people that will say, oh, that the guy is dating the girl because he's grooming her, da, 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 da. And in my case, like, I would say I never felt like that with anyone that I've ever dated that was older than me. It wasn't about them trying to teach me things that they like or make me do things that they wanted me to do and mold me into the girl or woman that they want me to be or anything like that. Like, for me, it was just like I've always been a bit mature, and I've always gravitated to hanging out with the older crowd. Even when I was a little girl, I always wanted to be around the adults. I always wanted to be in the gossip, so excuse me, that carried along my life. I always wanted to hang out with the older people and be in the older crowd and things like that. So I never found it like, oh, this guy is just trying to, mold me into something, that they want me to be. I've always been kind of my own girl and do my own thing and, out and about and whatever. And if I chose to stop doing things while I'm in a relationship, that was my choice, not because the guy made me or talked me out of it or things like that. Like, that was always just for me, like my choice, what I decided I wanted to do at that point in time in my life in that relationship. But I've never felt like just because I was dating an older person that, they were trying to change me or groom me into something else or someone else. Now, can it happen? Of course it can happen. But I of course it can happen, and I'm sure it does happen, and I just never experienced that. But what I feel is like this time, during these times, this generation is just different than when, I was growing up. Um, they question a lot more. Um, Believe it or not, I think that they judge a little more and are a bit harsher in their judgment. And I also believe that they take a lot of things out of context. So, so it's different than from when I was growing up. Like, we didn't think that much into it. Like, like, this generation really looks into it. Like, they think about it and they put it out there like, no, that's not what it is. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's just totally different from, the way I was growing up. We didn't read that much into it. We didn't always think that there was a hidden agenda or another story behind something or anything like that. If we dated older because we liked older and so on and so forth. I mean, on average, I think, I guess, yeah, men tend to date a younger girl, but it's usually, I guess nowadays it's more like, 2, 3 tops, maybe 4 year difference nowadays, where back then it was different, like I been with my partner for a very long time and he's 7 years older than me. And I've dated, other guys that were 7 years older than me, 8 years older than me. And, I just never viewed it or felt like, oh, they're trying to, change me or whatever the case may be. Like, it's just what I like. And we got along and, we started dating and things like that. Um, but I feel like this generation likes to read into so much of it, and they can be like, ew, but he's so old. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like he might be old, or older, but, you know, I mean, and I'm not going to say that I've never said anything like that before because I have. I have said it, but it's like, like you're 20 something years old or even 25, 30 years old and you're dating someone that's like 50 years old or 55 or 60 years old, like you're like, oh, why? Like, he's old or she's old, why? And can I say that they don't have anything in common? No, I can't say that because, there are genuine people that, you know, genuinely have a connection and attraction to someone that's that much older than them, which is fine. I think that it's fine as long as you know, you're mature enough and understand, and you're not like, you know, you're not looking for a sugar daddy and all that nonsense. Like, we're talking about like legit people that are in relationships or are attracted to older people, not people that are looking, for a sugar daddy or someone to take care of them or looking to get something out of someone because they're older or younger. That's not what I'm talking about. That's totally different. Totally different. Because those things do happen also, but like I said, that's not the same thing. I'm talking about a genuine connection because um there are girls that have these relationships with older men, and they end up having kids with them and stuff like that. And I think that's what they were talking about on the other podcast I was listening to. They were talking about someone that was having a child with someone that was, I want to say, 15 years older than them. I don't remember 100%, but they were much older than they were. But this person already had kids from previous relationship, and though that they were in their 20s and dating someone much older than them and having a child with them, you know they were kind of like saying like, is it right and stuff like that. Like, this girl, yeah, she's in her 20s, but she's experienced. She's not a kid, like, even though she's young in her 20s, she's not a child and she has children. So it's not like she don't know the life she's getting into. Um and obviously there was, I don't know if the people were still together or not, but there's an attraction there, and whatever the case may be, I don't know the people and I don't know the situation, I don't know if it's she's trying to sugar daddy him, they both have money, I know that. But, you know, I don't really know, the dynamic of that relationship. But I feel like for me, them talking about her being in her 20s and the guy being like 15 or whatever years older than her and her having a kid, like she's not a child. She's old enough to make that decision. Um and she knows what she's getting herself into. So this is not like you know, her first ride with anybody. She has kids already or one child. I don't know how many, but she does have a child already, and it's like, so what? He's 17, 15, whatever amount of years older than she is. Like she knows what she's getting into. And, I'm sure there was an attraction there. And he probably was like, yeah, we could, we hanging out, we messing around, whatever it is. They decided to get in a relationship and she ended up getting pregnant. And, the rest is history. I don't know if they're still together or not, but it's like they both know what they're getting into. He's looking at her as someone that's already grown. He's not even probably paying attention to the age, I think, because he probably already views her as a mature woman that has kids, and she's not a baby. She knows what she's doing. She lives on her own. She maintains herself. She has, you know, um, her own job or whatever it is, and so it's like, can you say like, "Oh, is he trying to groom her or anything like that? Like, is it wrong or whatever?" Maybe it might be weird to some people, because they've never been attracted to someone that much older than them or something like that. But I think that if you have been or, you've dated someone older than you, significantly older than you. I think 8 years, 7 years, 10 years is a significant age difference. Um, if you're going higher than that, that's really it's really a big difference. Um, and mentally maturity wise is also, you're also gonna there's gonna be a difference, you know what I'm saying? um I think girls in their early 20s and so on, like, even though they may want to be in a relationship and want that, husband wife feeling and stuff like that, like at the end of the day, when you break up, you go back to being that wild free person that you probably were before you were in a relationship. Like you start going out again with your friends, or back to the same old stuff again. So you're still in that vibe of wanting to hang out and be with your girlfriends and la 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 la, whereas you get older and you break up and whatever, like you still relax, like you go out occasionally, but you're not on the scene, like you're not in the streets, it's not a party, you know what I'm saying? Like we do dinners and brunch, and that's it. Like we're not gonna be out in the street at older ages. So, but the point is that I felt like if the person is genuinely attracted to someone that's older than them, I don't think that you should should consider that trying to groom the person or trying to uh, make it sound like it's a bad thing, because I don't think it's a bad thing if you're genuinely, attracted and have feelings for the person, or that's what you're attracted to. Because there are women and men that are attracted to either older, you know, older girls or older men, or younger girls and younger men. There's women that are attracted to younger men, older women that are attracted to younger men, older men that are attracted to younger women. So it works both ways, and it's not a bad thing, as long as that's I feel like as long as it's what you like, you're not looking, there's no alternative motive behind you dating a younger person or older person. You're not looking for someone to take care of you. You're not looking to manipulate someone to being something that they are not, to satisfy you, and things like that. Like, if it's a genuine, feeling, then there's nothing wrong with it, because there's nothing wrong with, right now, obviously my age difference with my partner isn't, it doesn't matter now, but when I was younger it would have. And we've been together for a very long time, and I was young, very young, when we got together. So it's just a matter of what your preference is, as long as you're not doing it, like I said, for an alternative motive, or you have something, a hidden agenda or something like that. So I just found the topic really interesting, because I know this generation is more like, like, very judgy. And I don't think you should judge someone if that's how they genuinely feel, or what they genuinely like. Like, not everybody's gonna like the same thing. So there are things that you might like, and I could just be like, "Mm," but that's not that's not my choice. That's the way you want to live your life, then go ahead, do it, as long as you're doing it because it makes you happy. That's who you are. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think. And give me, if you see another view, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you find another view about it, on it. Because maybe I can, it'll broaden my vision or version, or what I think. Yeah, so let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Sweet Cherry Podcast, and I am your host, Cherry. Bye.